Hello children, I'm going to read you Ordinary Audrey by Peter Harris and David Runnett. Ordinary Audrey. In all the Wild West there was no tougher town than Deadwood. And in all of Deadwood there was no one tougher than the girl they called Deadwood Deb. And they were having a tough girl contest. Now Deb was so tough she could out-lasso, out-snarl and eat more beans than any cowboy in the territory, which isn't bad when you're only 5. So when news came that the meanest outlaws in the West were headed for Deadwood, the townsfolk said, "No problem, we'll make Deb our sheriff. She'll soon send 'em running." "'Fraid she won't," drawled Doc. "Wesley, Deadwood Deb's on vacation down in Florida. She's gone wrestling alligators." "Of course," he said, "we could always make Deb's twin sister, Ordinary Audrey, our sheriff instead." Now, Ordinary Audrey was very ordinary indeed. She liked playing with teddies, swinging on swings, just as long as they didn't go too high. But when it came to being tough, she couldn't even out-lasso, out-snarl or eat more beans than Doc Wesley's fat old tabby cat. Though she had been known to out-sick the other children at a party after eating too much cake. So why choose Ordinary Audrey to be sheriff? "Because," said Doc Wesley, "she looks just like Deb. So if we dress her up like Deb too, those outlaws will take one look and scream, 'It's Deadwood Deb!' and run for their lives." But why did Ordinary Audrey agree to be sheriff? Because wearing that silver star made her feel very important, and she did like the way it sparkled in the sunshine. But come the day the outlaws rode into town, Ordinary Audrey didn't feel important at all. No, sir, she felt scared, plumb scared. "I'm Deadwood Deb," she gulped. "I'm plenty tough," she went on, telling an even bigger whopper. "So you better not start any trouble." "You, Deadwood Deb, don't make us laugh," they snarled. "Deadwood Deb's down in Florida wrestling alligators. You're only a sister, Ordinary Audrey." And then they started hooting and hollering and hurling their lassos. Now Deadwood Deb would have stayed to fight it out, but not Ordinary Audrey. She jumped on the nearest horse and rode lickety-split out of there, with those outlaws laughing fit to burst. And she didn't stop riding until she reached Peaceful Springs. Well, those springs may have been peaceful, but by then little Audrey sure wasn't. One of those varmints had busted her sheriff's badge, and you know how she felt about that silver star. And then Audrey started thinking just what those mischief makers might be up to in Deadwood, and she realised that the folks back home needed her help. Now Audrey knew she couldn't out-lasso or out-snarl those outlaws, but she was pretty sure she could outsmart them. So Ordinary Audrey thought up one peach of a plan. "Please, Mr. Railroad Man, I need a ticket to Deadwood," said Audrey. She walked into the station. "I'd like to send a telegram, and do you know any places that sell suitcases?" Well, back in Deadwood, the outlaws were being as mean as coyotes in a cactus patch when the telegram arrived with their names on it. "Whoopee! It says here we've won the state lottery," they hooted. $100,000 silver dollars will be coming our way on the 6:18 train. Let's get down to the railway depot, boys." And that's just where Ordinary Audrey wanted them to be. And when 6:18, the train from Peaceful Springs rolled into Deadwood, Ordinary Audrey got off carrying the suitcase that she just bought. She pulled herself up straight, twisted her mouth into a snarl just like her sister's, and then she looked those outlaws straight in the eye. Well, if it ain't those cowardly rattlesnakes who ran my twin sister right out of town, she snarled. Real mean. Boys, I'm going to teach you a lesson. And did they say, don't make us laugh like they had before? No, sir. They screamed, it's Deadwood Deb, the real one. And they left town even faster than Audrey had. And she'd been riding a horse. The townsfolk couldn't believe their eyes. They crept out of their hiding places and came out to cheer. Well, if that don't beat all, the Deadwood folk chortled. Just watch those varmints skedaddle. You know, we should put up a statue to our ordinary Audrey, said Doc Wesley. And while we're about it, we'll give her a new name too. And that is exactly what they did. From that day to this, the brave little girl has been known as Extraordinary Audrey. Hooray for Audrey! And there she is. Snip, snap, snout, our story is out. Bye.